Alright, Shalom, Shalom, first foremost, we'll say, call him Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, Bashim HaKakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, who do rule and teach well. Right, those are men I learn the truth from. So we go into this topic on the fate of the heathen, right? Post World War III, and so on and so forth, right? Because that's also part of, what we have to do. Right, we had to tell our people, Isaiah 58, on highways and byways, their transgression, come back to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, come learn what the true names are, come learn, what tribe you're from, and so on and so forth. Right, learn that the true Israelites, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and, make your call in an election, sure, right, do what you got to do, okay, give diligence to make your call in an election, sure, okay, and what else am I trying to get into? We also have to tell the heathen, right, of what's going to happen to them, right? We tell the heathen that if you're here in America, you're going to be destroyed, right? And you're just going to be reborn into slavery, into the kingdom, right? And in other parts of the world, heathen going to get hit with missiles, but in places where they're not hit with missiles, they actually do survive World War III, they're just going to be brought into slavery, okay? When the time is right and the elect descend from the chariots, the other nations are going to be grabbed up, brought to our land to build it, and they will be slaves, okay? And that's what's going to happen, all right? And I'm just going to go into, what's going to happen to them, right? Let the high praises of the Most High be, Psalm 49 and 6, let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand, right? Talking about the kingdom. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, right? Meaning to jack them up. As they done unto us, we have to get vengeance upon them, and we're going to do them way worse than they did us, okay? Now, certain things that they did to us, obviously, we're not going to do to them because, gotta say for people start getting simple, because Esau did some really disgusting shit to us, like sleeping with the man's wife, and all kinds of, having a man take a wife and then sleeping with his wife, ravishing his wife and then giving the wife back to the man. That's fucked up. Like, that's against the scriptures. That's wicked, right? You're not supposed to do things like that, right? To bind the kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to starting with the elites on down to the basic lower level damn, heathen. They all go into slavery, right? We're going to put chains on them and fetters of iron upon them, right? They're going to get it bad. They're not going to be out here wearing satin robes and, having all this, designer shit on and gold chains and all. No, they're not gonna be living good. They're gonna living bad, right? To execute upon them the judgment written. They're not gonna have no overtime either. They're not gonna have no overtime. They're not gonna have no fucking sick leave, fucking days off, and no, there's gonna be no shifts. They're gonna do back breaking labor, right? To execute upon them the judgment written that's going to have all the saints praise your Lord, right? And we can go into the judgment written. There's actually a lot you can get into the judgment written, right? It's not a debate on what's going to happen to the heathen, right? This is the book of Psalm, chapter 2, and verse 8. I might go to 7. I will declare the decree. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee, right? Because Yahushua is the first spirit created, right? And, the greatest portion goes to Yahushua, right? And then we're just, under him, okay? And, we're co-heirs under Yahushua, right? If we suffer with this work, we become his co-heirs of the kingdom, okay? Because like it says in Psalm 110, right? Um, Sit down my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool, right? What Yahweh's enemies? His enemies are our enemies. Those are all the nations. Every last heathen are our enemies. They're going to be our footstool. They're going to be under us, all right? Ask of thee, ask of me, I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. All these nations are going to be under us and their lands, right? Uttermost parts of the earth, the other side of the world, everything, all the places. The only land that we're not going to touch or going to is going to be Babylon the Great, which is America, which is just going to be, it's going to have smoke left, all just smoke come off it for a minute, for a long time. We can't give you, can't give you like exact years, minute to minute breakdown of how long, but it's gonna be there for a long time. It's not gonna be there forever. You go into that word forever, like in Isaiah, I think it might be 34. It means, you go into it, it means like a long duration of time. It's not meaning forever. All right. So thou shalt break them in pieces with a rod of iron, right? Literally, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel, right? So we gonna jack them up, right? We gonna bash them upside the head. They're gonna have it rough, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, right? And 1. Now after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay, so that's what it is, right? Babylon the Great, America, is after destruction, is fallen, and it's going to be a habitation of devils, spirits, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. All right, so you're just going to have scavengers, and you just gotta have spirits here. That's all you'll have, right? Every foul spirit. You just gotta have spirits and scavengers here, right? Doleful creatures, like it says in Isaiah the 13th, maybe the 13th chapter. That one at 34, but it goes into it. You have the bitter, and it's just gonna be like a desert with smoke coming out of it. For all the nations had drunk of the wine of the wrath of fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Right? So yeah, these nations, they followed America, the American way, Americanization. They get the McDonald's, they start dressing like them, doing what they do, you start selling out, pushing out, the different, alphabet stuff, right? Heavy alphabet stuff. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you see not of her plagues, right? Which is talking about, the chariot. That's the only way you're going to be able to escape, okay? For her sins have reached into heaven, and the Most High have to remember her iniquities, right? Reached up into heaven means, space debris, stuff that they put, into the, atmosphere and, in space and things like that, satellites and different space debris and stuff like that. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, which actually satellites were there to, be a witness against them, but also, see here, reaching to space, all the stuff they put out there. But, like scripture says, the books are open in the firmament. That was actually through the satellites. So Esau, through his internet, actually shot himself in the foot, So, that's why, you had one of the Rockefellers talk about how the internet was, a bad thing. But the Lord set up the internet to be made, so this truth could be pushed out, right? So, yeah. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she had filled her double, right? Her judgment. Okay? So started doing unto us, do unto her double, right? Because they did some really fucked up stuff to us. They, had Jake shitting and pissing on themselves on the slave ship, right? You know, oh man, they did some fucked up stuff, man. Really, really wrong, right? Sleep with a man's wife, then give the man back his wife. That's jacked up, man. Right? So they did to the Northern Kingdom, because they did some fucked up stuff to the Northern Kingdom too. To cut them up, they mutilated them. Right, which they mutilated Southern Kingdom as well. Right, a lot of mutilations. They burnt the Northern Kingdom alive. Right, they did some really fucked up stuff, dude. Alright, stuff that's like wrong. Alright, like Scripture says, Isaiah, Zechariah, the first chapter, 13 verse. Right, these Edomites, they got a lot to pay for, man. Alright, because they forwarded the affliction. Alright, for all the nations forwarded the affliction, but the Edomites, they done the most. Alright, so I'll let that be that. Low and edified. Let's say shalom.